So now you know what to expect from the examiner, and you also know what you should and shouldn't focus on during your Part 1 and your overall speaking test. So now we're going to look at one good example answer and two bad ones. The question is, do you like reading books? This is a typical Part 1 question about your likes or dislikes or about your hobbies. And you're going to see three answers. Two are not very good answers, and one is a good answer. So, student 1. Yes, I do. Do you like reading books? Yes, I do. That's it. Student 2. Yes, I do. I like reading autobiographies and memoirs because, for me, they're the most interesting way to learn about history and historic events. Last month, I read an autobiography by the first man to climb Mount Everest, and it was really fascinating. Student 3. Yes, I do. I love diving into a real page-turner and getting lost in a world of pure imagination. I believe everyone should get stuck into a good read because it not only gets your imagination firing, but also expands your knowledge. So, which one of these do you think is a good answer? Is it student 1, student 2, or student 3? So, I'm going to reveal the answers. Student 1. This is a bad answer. Obviously, this is a bad answer because it's too short. Yes, I do. Your job in your IELTS speaking test is to show off as much as you can. You need to give the examiner a lot of data. And by data, I mean sentences and complex sentences and grammar and vocabulary to show them what your English level is. In every Part 1 answer, you should answer the question and then try to share some more detail. We'll look at this answer strategy a little bit later. So this is a bad answer because it's too short. Student 3 is a bad answer as well. You might look at this and say, wow, they used lots of idioms, lots of expressions, very colorful, flowery language. But this is a good example of too much. This is too much. This is too much flowery, colorful, dramatic language. And in the IELTS speaking test, the style of your language should be quite casual, conversational, like you're sitting and having coffee with a friend. This reads almost like an article, and the language we use in writing is very different from the language we use in speaking. I think you have to demonstrate that skill to the examiner. You have to be able to communicate verbally in a way that native speakers will easily understand. So the phrases like a real page turner is okay, but getting lost in a world of pure imagination, that is very much written English, and that's very over the top. That's too much. I do have a lot of students who try and insert as many idioms, expressions as possible, and when there's too many, it's really difficult to listen to as a native speaker. So don't try too hard. 1 or 2 expressions is fine, but when there's 2 in every sentence like this, it's too much. So, student 2, this is a great Part 1 answer. Yes, I do. They answer the question directly. And then they share their opinion and their experience in a very natural, easy to understand way. First, they share their preference. I like reading autobiographies and memoirs because they're interesting. And then they give an example, a recent example. Last month, I read an autobiography. The language here is not over dramatic. It's not too much. It's the perfect balance between number 1 and number 3. So use number 2 as a template. This is a really good example of a part 1 answer.